Okay, so now I'm waiting for her face to dry, and it is definitely going to need another layer of this ancient earth green titanium buff situation. So my next thing is she's got her dress, her garments, I should say, is really two-tone. This whole side seems like there's brownish red over here, and there's a little bit of it showing up on the sleeves here as well. And so this is a really interesting fabric on this thing. So I think what I'm going to do is put in some of these darks on the side here, and then put the light back on top of it, since I know that I just used straight up yellow ochre. It's okay to cover up what I did and go back over it and bring it back to the light. So it's like this half is reddish brown and this half is kind of this yellowish taupe. And so this obviously is going to need to be lighter. I just put the darks in, so I think I'm going to do this next. And I've chosen burnt sienna for it. You can kind of see it's not that far off. This might have a little bit of more purple in it. I might throw a hint of French lacquer in it. And so that might make it purple. I don't know. You know, I just wing it. And it may or may not come out the way I want it. So I have burnt sienna here. I'm just going to throw in a bunch of purple and see what I get. This French lacquer is some pretty crazy stuff. I may have put too much in, but you know, you don't know until you try, and there's nothing wrong with trying. Ooh, this actually came out really nice. I like it. I think we've got our color, and it's not going to be too far off. It's really neat. Sometimes it's divine providence that you choose the right thing. We'll see how this goes on the board. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with mixing colors. The only problem is it's really hard to make the same color more than once. So if you keep track of recipes, it's super helpful. I know this is upside down for you, but it's right side up for me, and it would be really helpful for me to have that. So I hope you don't mind me working with her upside down for y'all, because it's a detail that I'm just kind of eyeballing. I really want to be able to look at this and see what I'm doing. So this color is getting weird. Notice like just where I put my brush in, it's getting darker. It's like separating. And so this might be one that I want to mix before I use. So I'm just going to try not to put my hand on the board. Board awareness is big, but I just set my pinky down here. And I'm just going to put this on here. And it's not a super opaque color, but that's okay. Her garment's really interesting. And I'm going to use the brush as intended, I think. I think it's cool that some of the fabric underneath is showing through. Let's see. This is going to come down like this. And I'm just following the way that the fabric flows. The goal, remember, is to not show your brush strokes. And so this may get another layer, maybe not. I kind of like what it's doing. Just have to wait and see what the end product looks like. Let's see. It would appear that it's almost is like paint by numbers. Gotta make sure you're in the right spot. So that it matches your color plate. And just kind of outlined it with my brush. Oh, the light's kind of crazy, isn't it? It's not helpful, is it? I don't know. How's that? Is that better? Okay, sorry about that. Again, I'm just kind of winging the videography. I don't know why I struggle with that word. What do you think, Caleb? Videography or videography? He's no help. Come on, Caleb. All right. So this goes all the way Very pretty, this color. I like it. I might even put it on my sheet. This is a keeper color. It's kind of a purpley red, and I'll tell myself how I made it here in a bit, but sometimes when I find a color I like, I just add it to my sheet. Okay. So it looks like this comes over this way, and this fold is involved. I try to work in sections, so I'm following a set of lines right now, and I'm going right to the line. I do have my hand on the board. That is not the best thing to do, but whatever at this point. I'm trying not to move my palm and smear it across the outside of the board. You can use the maul stick, that is certainly helpful. This color is going to go all the way up to these little prayer flappy things. I don't know what they're called. It's not very teacher-like for me to not know the answers to stuff like this, but again, it's just about the prayer. And it's about making something beautiful and understanding that the essence of Mary will be in this when I'm done. Our very first peanut butter cookie. Thought I'd share that. Thanks, Caleb. Alright. So just following the folds and my lines that I put in here, trying to eliminate brush strokes, trying to make it all like homogeneous. There's a little spot down here that looks a little light. I'm gonna rotate her around. You'll like that. She'll be right side up for you. Yay. Let's see. It sure looks like it does something like this. And it's okay if it goes in and out because fabric flows, you know. So I like that, how that's working. And this goes all the way up to her sleeve. It looks like there's another, I'm having trouble imagining how this is working. It looks like there's another dark spot right here, like that. So I'm just gonna follow this and make another little fold here. When you're doing garments, you wanna imagine where the light's coming from and kind of keep that going. So I'm gonna make the highlight of that fold be there. And this does just stay dark the rest of the way. And I can calm these folds down with a glaze of this purpley brown color I've made. But I need to do that in a different step. And so I know it's very bright right now, but it can be fixed. So you can kind of see starting to look like what's going on in the picture. Okay, so what's going on up here? It sure looks like we have a good chunk of the sleeve that's red as well. Even if you tried to write all these lines in, like, you know, I'm just kind of eyeballing some of this. If you had etched all these lines in, your picture will, your icon will still look different than the original, no matter how hard you try. And I think it's good that it does, because you'll find that everybody's icons will have their own style. When you look at an icon, you can tell it's one of mine. When I look at my friend Deacon Ray's icon, I know it's a Deacon Ray icon. So even though you're, you know, using somebody else's image as a template, it does become your own because of how you paint and you write, and your techniques and your style will come through. A lot of times they say that you should try to honor the icon and have it come out as close to the original as possible, so we don't go super nuts embellishing. However, I've seen lots of modern iconographers kind of do their own thing, and so do what you want, whatever makes you happy. The goal is to just pray with it at the end. You might have some folks, you know, that are from the Eastern churches thinking that it's not a traditional icon if you go crazy with embellishment, but that's okay, because not all of us are from the East. And I love that we're starting to see icons in the West. So I try to be as close as I can, but if you want to embellish, have at it. I'm just kind of putting this red in where I see it's dark. I'm kind of doing this backwards. I probably should have done the red first and then put the yellow on top. So not following tradition very well here, but I think it's gonna be okay. Looks kind of crazy right now, doesn't it? There, you can see what I'm doing. I have so much light all over the place. You can see, I don't know if that's better or worse. I'm half blind, so I like the light while I'm working. And so I'm just taking my time and putting it in where I think I see it. And there's no right or wrong. I'm not in a hurry. Just kind of doing my own thing. And see that this is hitting fingers, so I need to come out further and actually include this little doohickey here. Once my skin dries, I'll probably stop what I'm doing and put another layer on my skin. And so I just kind of move around my board and go where it's not wet. and that way I'm not running wet into wet. I always make sure that I have nice clean lines on the edge. It certainly helps later if you do. And again, your brush will ride that trough. Okay. So I've got some of the reds in here. I do need to put a little bit more in here. And I'm gonna put some over here. I think I'm gonna switch to this side again and work down here for a bit. It's always good to make sure you have enough of the colors to make it through all of the different things you need to do with it. So you don't have to make more in the middle. All right, so it would appear that this gets light and dark it gets dark on the edges and light down the middle. So I'm gonna try to do that here. And work in my space that I have here. Let's see. Again, I got stuff in the background all the time that I can't really control. So you're probably hearing some Yo Gabba Gabba in the background and kids baking cookies and all that jazz. All right, there's that. And let's do it again here. I'm gonna fold right here. All right. What am I doing? So you can kind of see I'm mimicking. It looks like there's a nice following this fold. I could probably take the brush and do nice and dark. I can't see. There it goes. All right. And then there's a little bit here, just little, like, boop. Like the shadows, it's really cool. The shadows on this garment are this red. It's fun. Make a very good fold here. I like to make fabric believable, and so it should have soft curves. It should have shadows and depth to it, although some icons keep everything very flat. And so again, it's not made to look realistic sometimes because it doesn't follow the rules, because they're not here. Again, they're in heaven. And so everything represents that. Okay, I'm just gonna keep following these crazy lines that we got everywhere. And so I don't know how much of my detail work you want to watch, but I think you're getting the idea. I really think that when we start putting the details in, it starts coming to life, for sure. And then you get excited when you put the details in, because you're like, ooh, this is gonna be beautiful. And you start seeing it and you're like, ah, and then you just want to keep working. But I very much recommend walking away from your work, taking breaks, letting things dry, sometimes taking a picture of it and looking at it from a distance. Things like that can really help. Okay, so a little bit of this red showing up over here. This garment has a lot of detail in terms of a flower pattern, and I'm going to do my darndest to make it match. We'll see how much I stay true to that statement as I'm painting it. I don't know. Okay. So you're getting some ideas of the fabric. So I don't know, just put my first layer of color on, and starting to get some really cool details and folds here, so I like that a lot. It is like the tiniest bit purple. This icon, remember, it wasn't really an icon, it's the Tilma from Juan Diego, and so the colors are really fascinating. There's this purple-y brown and this turquoise-y outer garment. Mary's normally, you know, Mary blue. There's a color that's very Mary blue. Like, I think it's Monte Carlo or primary blue. This is Mary's blue normally, this bright blue. So it's kind of fun to do these different colors, because it doesn't happen often. So a lot of times I'll just search the internet looking for an image that's really talking to me, and this one was. And the whole story of Juan Diego is really fascinating. Okay, this goes like that. Looks like we have a little foldy-do there. And comes under here like so. There's kind of like gold trim on this that I kind of painted the same as Mary's. Kind of looks like it connects to that a bit. And again, I'm just winging this. I'm not putting a lot of effort into making it like exact. I just want it to kind of follow the trends of the original one. I mean, you could really spend a lot of time making it exact, but I feel like I'm close enough. Close enough. Okay. Gonna clean these edges up and make them look smooth. that's left is this other sleeve and up here at the sides. So let's knock that out. And again, I just turned the picture to match. So I'm not good at flipping things in my head. This goes down and gets kind of wide down in here. And again, you can play these at 2 times as fast. And just watch it, because, you know, I don't know how to edit it and make it go like fast. But icons are not a fast thing. So again, it takes about 40-50 hours to make one of these by the time I'm done. Okay, and this does come up here a little bit. Like that. Okay. And I'm using a 4 round brush, and you can see how much of a point that comes to. That's why I'm able to use it for thick and thin, and it's one of my favorite brushes for stuff like this, because I can make the tiniest lines or real thick lines depending on how hard I press. And look, I cleaned that up right there. It looks real nice. Let's see. This comes in like this. This kind of does this. And this comes down like that. And it kind of connects. Trim this just to make it easier on myself. Alrighty. So now the decision is, do I add more color to this? Like go back through here and darken this a bit. I think I will, before my color, you know, disappears. Make this real nice so we can't see any brush strokes, and just I can put the yellow back in right on top, which is nice. So if I want to bring the color through, I can. But again, while I have the color, it makes sense to go back and do this. And honestly, this side is dry, and so that's okay. Now right here, it's starting to lift it up a bit. I don't know if you can see that, like on the spot right there. And so when it starts doing that, I know I'm overworking a spot. See how it's lifting instead of painting? What I do in that case is load my brush up and then just little lake it in that spot, and then just spread it out. And then I know I'm doing too much at once, and I need to let that go. If I keep working that, it's just gonna get worse, not better. And it's the board telling me, you know, take a step back from this color for a bit and go do something else. And so that spot's gonna need to sit for a bit and really dry before I can do anything else with it. And so you gotta listen to what your icon is telling you. And at this point, it's saying enough with that red there, and move on to some other spot. Again, if I tried to work that and keep working that, it's just gonna get worse. So that would be a time to like go take a walk. This is doing it a little bit too. So this red color does not like to have too many layers too quick. So I'm gonna have to put this red on every now and then. I can tell, like this might be something I put on a little bit more tomorrow and a little bit more the next day. And that's okay, because there's plenty of this icon to work on. while that's curing. It takes actually years for an icon to cure completely. And so doing this in a week's time is challenging. But I do like to go through and just get this whole color done at once if the paint will allow it. So far it's being pretty good. It's just that one spot. So, but do not go back as much as you want to. Just leave it alone. And again, you need to take your time and do a good job and try to go over the exact same spots. That's not completely dry yet, so I don't know that I want to hit that again yet. So I think I'll come down here. It looks pretty dry. Okay. It's a nice time to clean the edges up too and make nice smooth edges because it is fabric. You would expect it to be smooth, not jaggedy. This is Mary, and her clothes are beautiful. Her garments are lovely. And so we want that to happen when we paint them. We want that to come through. So this video is getting a little lengthy, but I think the detail is the most important part. We're putting folds in. Right now, this is the darkest part of her inner garment. And I'm just showing you how I'm taking my time and doing a good job. And again, I pray as I write. You can talk to Mary, pray for whatever's on your mind. Again, I always pray for the people I'm writing the icon for. And so you just keep moving to the part of the board where you feel like, hey, I think I want to do that next. And again, I am doing this one a little bit opposite. You're supposed to go dark to light, and I did kind of go light to dark. But this is a funky garment, again, because it's kind of half and half. Keep thinking like Cruella de Vil, black and white, but this is like purpley brown and gold. I made a mess of that. Ooh. So my line's getting thicker and thicker because I keep messing it up, but it's okay. Because remember, there's that big flower design on this. Sounds like another batch of cookies are done. Alright, so I've got 2 coats of this pretty much everywhere now. And my brush strokes are pretty much gone, so. And that was the goal, to make it solid so we can't see where I stopped and started. And so I could probably go back one more time and just find just the spots where it needs touched up. I don't think the whole thing needs redone, but there are definitely spots that are lighter than others. Okay. So this is that spot up here that I don't want to touch again, and I was for real with that. I'm not going back in that spot. I'm not going to touch it because I've learned my lesson more than once. Do not go back. If the paint is lifting, leave it alone. Okay, I'm happy with that. What do you think? There we go, starting to come alive. I'm gonna put one more layer of the green on, and then I think I'm gonna call it a night. So I'll see you later. Peace.